dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, it's 5:33. I'm Will Puckett.
And I'm Cassidy Stricklet. Hope your morning is off to a great start. Yesterday we had some issues on the roads just with some black ice, some drizzle just kind of was falling across certain parts of the area, some school closings and delays, but today, so far, we're looking a little better.
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody in the winter should always take precaution on bridges and overpasses just because they're the first thing to freeze. But we don't have, if any, school delays or closings. So kids, wake up, go to school today, learn a little bit. But Brandon, he's always learning, and we're always learning from him. Brandon, what do we expect early this morning and into later today?
Cold a little bit, and then cloudy skies. Maybe some patchy fog as you head out this morning. So be careful of that. Can't rule out a sprinkle or a flurry either as you head out this morning and through the daytime hours. Let's take a look at the camera network, US 119 up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain. You can see snow still on the sides of the roads, but the roads themselves pretty clear, but it's some fog also up there on the ridges overnight. UVA-wise, kind of seeing a similar situation over that way. So again, just be careful as you head out the door this morning. Visibility down to 1 mile over in Wise, 3 miles at Moorhead. Everybody else looking okay. Jackson and Hazard getting right there close with 6 miles. Remember, anything less than 5 miles is very limited visibility. We'll take a look at the satellite and radar. And again, clouds are the name of the game. Not a whole lot of moisture to be seen this morning, but it's out there in some form or fashion. But again, I don't think it's going to cause any major problems for us. Temperatures, the cool spots, Logan and Wise, both at 28. Everybody else at 30 to 33, depending on where you are. I think Monticello is the warm spot this morning, and time with Ashland there at 33 apiece. State temperatures: 34 Paducah, Lexington, Cincinnati, 32 in the Tri-Cities, 29 down toward Nashville and Clarksville. Forecast for today: 42, 20% chance of, again, some flakes or some drizzle, especially flakes possible this morning, more drizzle toward the afternoon as we get above freezing. And cloudy skies, the name of the game. So hopefully some sunshine on the way, but not today. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
We will be sure to check back in with you. Thank you, Brandon. Well, leading our 5:30 half hour, it is now day 26 of the partial government shutdown.
President Trump told supporters during a conference call that he's not going to back down until the border wall is built.
But Democrats seem to be sticking together in opposition. CBS's Mark Liverman is in New York with the details.
White House economists say the partial government shutdown is having a greater economic impact than previously thought.
There are people who are having trouble making their rent payments, who aren't able to go out and go to a restaurant or something.
The Council of Economic Advisors says the shutdown is costing the U.S. economy 0.13 percentage points in growth every week. That's more than double what was first estimated. 800,000 federal employees are either furloughed or working without pay. That includes 42,000 Coast Guard members and their families who missed their first paycheck yesterday.
Every day that it lasts is another day where we worry.
Both sides remain dug in over funding for the border wall.
We do the Minnesota shovels.
A group of freshman House Democrats crossed Capitol Hill. They demanded the Republican-controlled Senate take up legislation to reopen the government.
We've been calling this the Trump shutdown because that's precisely what it is, but it is also the McConnell shutdown.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he won't hold any votes that don't have the president's support. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
Senate and House leaders say they will cancel the Martin Luther King Day recess unless the shutdown is resolved before then. Meanwhile, the IRS is taking steps to make sure Americans get tax refunds despite the shutdown. Yesterday, the IRS said it is recalling 36,000 additional federal employees to process refunds. That will bring the total number of those working at the IRS during the shutdown to more than 46,000, and most of them will not be paid. Only about 800 federal employees in 2 specific areas of the agency will get their paychecks. This year's tax filing season begins on January 28th.
Attorney General nominee William Barr spent more than 9 hours in the hot seat for questioning by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Barr says he would let special counsel Robert Mueller finish the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. However, he refused to commit to making the special counsel's report public. Questions about the investigation dominated day one of Barr's nomination hearing.
Do you believe Mr. Mueller would be involved in a witch hunt against anybody?
I don't believe Mr. Mueller would would be involved in a witch hunt.
Now, if confirmed, this would be Barr's second tour of duty as Attorney General. He served in the post between 1991 and 1993 under President George H.W. Bush. His confirmation hearing will continue today. Well, Acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker has agreed to testify before the House Judiciary Committee. The move comes after Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler threatened to subpoena him. In the first high-profile testimony since taking over the House, Democrats are expected to question Whitaker on Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. He has been openly critical of that probe and refused to recuse himself from it, despite demands from Democrats and Department of Justice ethics officials. The hearing is scheduled for the 8th of February.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is formally condemning comments made by Iowa Republican Representative Steve King. Lawmakers voted yesterday 424-1 to reject his remarks on white supremacy and white nationalism. The vote comes a day after Republicans declined to give King any congressional committee assignments. King has been in the spotlight since the New York Times quoted him saying that he doesn't understand why terms like white nationalist, white supremacist, and Western civilization are offensive.
The person was a Democrat, and they actually thought that the punishment should have been harsher. Well, a federal judge in New York has struck down the Trump administration's effort to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census. Judge Jesse Furman said the proposal is unlawful for a multitude of independent reasons. Critics have said the citizenship question would discourage non-citizens from participating in the census. The census determines how federal funds are allocated and how congressional districts are drawn for the next 10 years. It is meant to account for everyone living in the United States, not just U.S. citizens.
In other news this morning, a long police procession carried the body of fallen Arizona officer Clayton Townsend to his funeral yesterday. Officer Townsend was hit and killed last week during a traffic stop. The driver who hit him was booked into jail and later released on bond. He told officers he had been texting when he fatally hit Townsend. The Salt River police officer had been with the department for 5 years. He is survived by his wife and 10-month-old son.
Meanwhile, in Ector County, Texas, 3 deputies are recovering after they were shot Monday night. Officials say several deputies were serving a narcotics search warrant at a home around 9:30 p.m. when one suspect opened fire. 2 deputies were shot in the leg and 1 was grazed in the mouth. They are listed in fair condition. 1 suspect is dead and another is in custody.
Well, the death toll continues to rise after a chilling attack in Kenya.
Al-Shabaab terrorists stormed a hotel that is popular with Westerners. They brought bombs and guns. At least 15 were killed. There are reports at least 1 American is among the dead. During the attack, people took cover wherever they could. Witnesses say it was chaotic.
When those guys came in, they just started shooting. They were not normal people. There were 3 people with, they had green trousers, green tops. They had something here and bullets, black bullets.
Police rushed to the scene to help, only to find a horrifying scene. The Al-Qaeda-linked extremist group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility. This is not the first time they've struck in that area. Back in 2013, Westgate Mall attack left at least 67 dead.
Coming up later on Mountain News this morning, officials in Perry County take additional steps to fight the drug problem by working to add security cameras. We will tell you where.
It's orange season, and that means there's lots of juicy goodness waiting for us. So grab a napkin, because you're going to need it. I promise.
Mostly cloudy skies along with some drizzle or snowflakes will be the story today, but more chances for rain and snow are in the forecast. I'll have it for you in about 3 minutes.